Hello, I'm Cheryl and welcome to my sewing room. I'm going to demonstrate how to make a fall holiday table runner that I call Autumn Leaves. So let's take a look at it. I think you can see the reason why I call it Autumn Leaves is I have these really large leaf pattern all over this fabric. There's burnt orange, there's golds, and there's different shades of brown, and it's really beautiful. And then at this one end here, I have decorative ribbon that I used, and I selected ribbon to kind of go with all of these fall colors in here. And then I'm using straight grain binding on the edges. Okay, so let's go over what fabrics you need and how large you need to cut them. Now, if you have a cell phone near you, put this video on pause and take a quick snapshot of this cutting measurement. So when you go to your fabric store, it's right there in your phone so you know what to get. Okay, for your top fabric, you're going to need to have a piece that's at least 43 inches long by 17 inches wide. And then for your bottom fabric, I just select something very plain. I'm just using a cream color. It needs to be 45 inches wide by 45 inches long by 19 inches wide, and then cotton batting 45 inches long by 19 inches wide. Then you'll notice that your cotton batting in your bottom fabric is cut a little bit larger, and I'll show you why later on in the video why it's a little bit larger. Then your binding, you're going to need 3 strips that are 2 3/4 inches wide. Now, if you don't know how to cut out your strips of binding, watch my video Straight Grain Binding, and I'll show you everything you need to know about that. And then optional is the ribbon. You don't have to use the size I'm using. You can use whatever size you want. I chose 3 different ribbons, 3 different colors, 3/8 of an inch wide by 19 inches long. Okay, let's move on to assembling all of these pieces together. All right, now we're going to layer everything. After we layer it, we're going to pin it together. So we hold all those layers together so that we're able to do our decorative stitching. I call it top stitching or quilting stitches. Now, you want to place your bottom fabric wrong side up, then your cotton batting, and then whatever top fabric you have selected that is also right side up. Now you're going to pin it together. Now, before I move on to the pinning, you want to make sure you center your top fabric within this cotton batting. You don't want it right up against the edges. Center it in there, because we're going to trim this all off later. All right, now you have 3 choices for pinning your layers together. You can either use a straight pin like I've been using, or you can use a quilting safety pin, or you can use a large hand basting stitch throughout your entire runner. I've used all 3 and they all work really good for me. Okay, so let's go over the walking foot. You need to use a walking foot. If you don't have one, you can still do the decorative stitching. You might have to struggle just a little bit, but you're still able to get it done. So the walking foot helps to hold all your layers of fabric together. Check with your local sewing machine store to see if they can help you find one for your machine. All right, now I chose a decorative quilting stitch, and you're going to start in one corner of the table runner, and this is just some sample fabric so you can see the stitching easier. I'm using a decorative stitch. It's a wavy line. You can use a straight line also, so if you don't have this, use your straight line. You're going to come in a couple of inches and do a line, then come over 2 or 3 inches and do another line, and you're going to move at a 45-degree angle all the way down the table runner. All right, then when you get done, then you're going to go over to the opposite corner, and you're going to again start a few inches from this corner, do a line, go over a few inches, do another line, and keep going down the table runner at a 45-degree angle. Now, if you don't have that wavy line, here's what it looks like with a straight stitch. It'll still look really, really nice with a straight stitch. Okay, after you've done that, you're going to put on your decorative ribbon. Okay, now I'm going to show you how I went about measuring for the placement of the ribbon. So on your ruler, you have these little inch marker lines, okay? Now, I don't know if you can see it very well on camera, but I'm going to talk you through it. Line up one edge of your ruler at one end of your table runner. And then I wanted my first row of ribbon to start at the 2-inch line, which is right here. Okay, I placed a straight pin right there at the 2-inch line. I wanted my next piece of ribbon to start at the 3-inch marker, so I placed a pin there, and then one more at the 4-inch marker. There, you can see that. Then go over to the other side and do the same thing. Mark where you want the ribbons to go, okay? Then take your ribbon and place it right over the top of that first pin here, okay? I think you can see it. And then center it over that pin, pull it out, and then put a pin here to hold it in place. Then pull it across, and then lay it over the other pin on the other side. Then place your pins in here, and then continue pinning in here also. Then after you've done pinning all the way across, because you want that ribbon to stay nice and straight, you're going to come over here to this end, and you're going to stitch right on that edge of the ribbon. Use matching thread, okay? So stitch all the way down to the other end, then come over here and stitch on this side of the ribbon, all the way down. Then when you're done with that, place your next ribbon on, pin and stitch it, and then the next one, pin and stitch that, okay? Now you want to do that on both ends of your runner. Okay, now after that, you're going to begin trimming the edges of the cotton batting and the backing fabric off, okay? So take your ruler, and you're going to take this edge of your ruler and place it on the raw edge of the top fabric, not on the raw edge of the batting and backing fabric, but on your top fabric, okay? And lay it on there. Then when you've got it lined up, place your hand here, press firmly down, and then begin cutting off. Now when your rotary cutter gets to the fingertip line, lift up your hand, continue cutting, lift up your hand, and continue cutting. You want to do that all the way around the entire runner. Okay, now take your binding and make sure you've already pressed your binding. You folded it in half and pressed it. All right, so you're going to begin at one end of the table runner and place one end of the binding in somewhere in the center here. Place it down and begin pinning. Now you want to start pinning 4 or 5 inches from this end here. So place some pins, okay? Then do a 3/8 of an inch seam from this raw edge here. So start stitching down. When you get 3/8 of an inch away from this raw edge over here, stop, leave your needle down, press your foot up, turn your table runner, and go right into that corner. 3 or 4 stitches, okay? Take it out of your machine, and now you're going to fold the binding away from you to where it is straight along this raw edge here, okay? Don't pull it this way and don't pull it that way, okay? Straight out. Do a little finger press there. Leave your thumb or finger there to hold it. Fold it towards you. Then leave this folded edge right against that raw edge. pull the binding down. Now you have your binding all lined up here. Take a pin, pin it down, and pin all the way along that edge. Then go back to your sewing machine and start 3/8 of an inch from this raw edge right there on the fold and begin stitching all the way down. You're going to do this corner process on all 4 corners, okay? Now, when you get to where you're coming around back to where you started, you want to fold the ends of your binding and leave a 1/2 inch overlap, okay? And then you're going to cut whatever excess binding you have. Just cut it off, all right? Then you're going to bring the ends of your binding together. Now I'm going to open one of these up. You want to have right side up here. Open that up. Then I usually fold my table runner in half so that it's easier to bring the ends together. And then let me find that other end. Here it is. And open it up. Bring the ends together. Line it up real nice. Then pin it together, okay? Put at least 2 or 3 pins down there. Then you're going to do a 1/4 inch seam across this edge here. Then after that, open up the seam and finger press that seam open. Then fold the binding back down, finish pinning it down, and then do your 3/8 of an inch seam along this last edge there. Now, a couple of more steps, all right? I'm going to flip this over to the back. And let me get it straightened out here. All right, now, you're going to fold these edges of the binding over. Now, on one side, fold it over. Now make sure you take this folded edge and pull it past this stitch line. Okay, then put a pin there. Then on the next other side of the corner, fold it over and put a pin. Then I'm going to show you an easy method to fold this corner so that it looks very nice. So I'm going to pull this table runner around. Take a straight pin and push down and in. Then fold it over and then put a pin in it. Okay? So you have a nice little mitered corner there. Do your pinning all the way around and fold all your corners in this method. Okay? One more step and then you're almost done. Okay, now you're going to do stitch in the ditch. And that's where 2 pieces of fabric come together. Here's that ditch right here. You're going to stitch next to the binding but not on it, real close. So you're going to start in one corner, stitch across, and when you get down to this next corner here, leave your needle down, press your foot up, turn the table runner, and then continue stitching. And stitch all the way around the table runner. And then you are done. And you have a very, very pretty holiday runner that didn't take you a month to make. It's not that hard to make this runner. Now, I hope this was helpful. I have one more autumn table runner that I've made for you, and I'll have a video coming out really shortly. I call it Pumpkin Patch, and look at all these pretty pumpkins. I put fall leaves at the end, decorative ribbons here, and I've used the straight grain binding on the edges, okay? So, to keep informed on all my future videos, click on subscribe. It's those bold letters down there at the bottom of your screen. You click on that and YouTube will prompt you for your email address. Say yes, enter your email address, and the next time I have a new video, YouTube sends you an email with a big button in the center. You click on that and YouTube will take you directly to my next video. I'm Cheryl and I'm really glad you came to my sewing room. See you next time. Bye-bye. Happy sewing.